Welcome to Barkhausen Nature Bites. Today we're talking about this critter right here, which is a cicada, or a cicada. Tomato, tomato. Actually, no one says cicada, and no one really says tomato, but this is a cicada. I just found this one. It was just starting to emerge from its exoskeleton, I'll talk about in a little bit. So I thought it was a good chance to talk about these fascinating insects. And these are a true bug. There's over 3,000 species of cicadas worldwide. Around here in Wisconsin, we got about 9. And cicadas can really get broken down to two groups. You have the annual or dog day cicadas, and those are the ones we have are more familiar with here in northeast Wisconsin. And then you have the periodic cicadas, and those are across the eastern United States, including southern Wisconsin. And for the annual or dog day cicadas, and they call them dog day cicadas because the dog day is summer, which is really more reference to the dog star more than the hot dogs, or eating a lot of hot dogs in the summer. But for the annual cicadas, the dog day cicadas, they can get about 1.5 inches long. Be kind of greenish in color, a little brown or black on them. And again, that's what I have right here in my hand. And they'll emerge as an adult. They'll do this as turn to adults every 2 to 4 years. And those are the annual or dog day cicadas. The periodic cicadas, they're going to do this every 13 or 17 years, depending on the species. So quite a big difference there. I'll talk more about them in a little bit. And forgive me, there's lots of mosquitoes out right now. We knew it was coming, and it's happening right now. So for cicadas, the annual cicada, dog day cicada, and the periodic cicada, their life cycle really starts off when the female goes into a young branch or a twig, makes a little slit in that bark, and she'll lay eggs there, sometimes 600 eggs. And after about 6 to 10 weeks, those eggs will hatch, and those larvae are going to fall down to the ground, where they're going to burrow down the soil down to the tree roots, and they're going to be eating sap from the tree roots. Not enough to really hurt the tree, but that's what they'll be eating throughout their larval stage. And depending on the species, it might be down there for 2 years, 4 years, 13, 17 years, depending on the species. And after enough time's passed, they're going to be crawling out of the ground, crawl up a vertical surface like a tree trunk or even your house sometimes. And that's when we usually see these old exoskeletons on those little vertical surfaces, because that's what the adult's going to emerge out of. They're going to climb out of this old larval exoskeleton, climb out right out its back, like this one is just starting to do right now. And look at, have the wings will dry, harden up, and they'll be flying around. And you'll see this, the exoskeletons on the vertical tree trunk later on. For the adult cicadas, the males are doing the buzzing sounds. Females aren't making that call, and they're doing that very, very loud. It can be 100 decibels, in fact. And they do that by vibrating little membranes as part of their abdomen, their stomach area, really, really fast. And they're doing that to attract a mate. The females will make that call, but both the males and the females can make a clicking sound by flicking the wings really rapidly. And so for the adult cicadas, they only live for several weeks. They're just going to lay eggs and die, and that's pretty much it. They will eat some sap from some young branches, twigs, not enough to really hurt the tree, but they do eat some, but again, only live for a short period of time. Now the periodic cicadas, those are the ones that are going to emerge every 13 to 17 years. And those are the ones we sometimes hear about in the news more about a bunch of cicadas hatching out in this given year. And they have broods or groups, but they call them broods of cicadas populations across the eastern United States that are supposed to hatch or emerge as adults every so often, every 17 years. Here in Wisconsin, northeast Wisconsin, we don't have any of the periodic cicadas. We only have the dog day, the annual cicadas. But down in southern Wisconsin, we do have one group of brood 13 of cicadas, that are set to emerge in 2024. So the last time we did that was 2007. Do my math, 2024 is the next time they're ready to supposed to emerge. And then when they do that, there's going to be quite a few of them, lots of buzzing sounds out there. There could be so many of those periodic cicadas when they do those hatches, emerge as adults. There could be 1.5 million per acre, so quite a bit. And why they do this and why they go so long, they're still trying to figure it out. They're actually one of the longest lived insects in the world, even though most of their time is a larval stage. But they think one of the reasons they emerge in such large numbers is that they just overwhelm the predators. The predators can't eat all the cicadas. They just get too full to the point they can't eat them all. They just win by numbers. So that way, only some make it every single year. And I talk about predators. A lot of things do like to eat the adult cicadas. Even humans will eat the adult cicadas. It's not uncommon for people to enjoy them as a tasty treat. I haven't personally tried it yet. I might have to try it sometime. Not you, buddy. Don't worry about that. I heard they taste like roasted chickpeas, shellfish, peanut butter, asparagus, a wide variety of flavors. It'd be kind of fun if a local restaurant did a cicada flavor of the day sometime. Just throwing that idea out there. But for cicadas, really a fascinating insect, pretty cool bugs for sure. Listen to them in the summer. It's just one of those things that makes summer summer. You hear them just about in the daytime only, not gonna be calling at night, but definitely a really cool bug, a little fun insect to check out. And for some reason, cicadas always reminded me of Frank Sinatra, because when they're both 17, they had very good ears. Thanks for watching Barkhausen Nature Bites.